An exciting deck indeed, and guess what, Corey? You're in luck here coming up for round number 12. Let's take a look at who we'll be seeing in our feature match area. It's Pro Tour first-timer Nicole Tipple playing that 4-color Legend Super Sweet deck versus Esper Midrange in the hands of Karl Sarap. Let's get to meet our players a little bit better. Like I said, Nicole's first Pro Tour here on Team Sanctum of all. She says she saw the Pro Tour at MagicCon Philly and decided she wanted to play Pro Magic. So what did she do? She had never played Modern, but she studied for 9 days and played Rhinos at RC Denver and qualified.
Wow, what a story.
I know.
Talk about manifesting your own destiny here.
Absolutely, so exciting. Karl Sarap on the other side of things, running Esper Midrange, top 8 at Pro Tour March of the Machine, 2 Mox top 8s as well on Team Handshake, Ultimate Guard. There's the players. Tell me about these decks, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at Nicole's deck to start here. This is the Legend strategy. It is trying to take advantage of Rona, Herald of Invasion, with Relic of Legends to be able to tap Rona, play a Legend, untap it, use that for mana. You also have Slogurk, the Overslime, to really take advantage of all these channel lands. And there's even a nice little infinite combo here with Alas Ilkor. If you do have 2 Honest Rustines, Rona plus Relic plus the Ilkor, you can play Honest Rusting, tap it, it dies, bring back Honest Rusting, rinse and repeat. They lose a life every single time it goes to the graveyard, and you can just win the game that way with a little combo finish, as well as just being a good mid-range deck.
Absolutely.
And then the other side, we got Esper Midrange here from Karl. Karl's been playing Esper for a long time, even all the way back to the World Championship a few years ago that he top forward. This is just a good deck. You know, this is 4 over Fiend. We see the wedding announcement, got a lot of removal. Not as cool as 4-color Legends, I will say, but of course, good player playing a good deck is going to have some pretty good results.
All right, it's time for round number 12, everybody. The sweats are starting here in the building as we work our way towards our top 8. It's time for round 12. I'm going to send it on over to the booth with Riley and Cedric.
Thanks very much, Maria. Yes, joined here by Cedric Phillips once again, and said it's time for us to get stuck into Standard. I know many people, thousands of people around the world, will have been looking forward to this moment, and we're here to bring it to you. I'm looking forward to our match here as well. Esper has been the sort of the deck that everyone's had on their radar.
Sorry, I fell asleep. You were talking about Esper.
Hey, listen, this deck's got some play to it, man.
I didn't say it.
This deck's got some.
I've seen enough for Fiends for a lifetime, Riley.
Nah, man, we're going to get amongst it.
Legends.
On the other side of the battlefield, in the hands of Nicole Tipple, the Pro Tour first-timer.
I know.
What's
the deal here? We got folks that they debut at the Pro Tour, and this stuff's easy.
She wins the whole thing. It's going to be the story. Look
Jake
at
Beardsley last year, Nicole this year, just easy does it, apparently.
Well, a tough obstacle in front of Nicole Tipple this round in the form of Karl Sarap, who is a very, very strong player, someone who is really going to be a very formidable opponent here for the 4-color Legends player here. But a decent-looking hand here for Nicole in that it does have, well, not just 1, but 2 copies of the probably most important card in the list, Cedric, in the form of Rona, Herald of Invasion.
We agree. Rona is arguably the most important and most powerful card in the deck. It kind of ties the entire room together. When I was talking to other players who were playing 4-color Legends this weekend, they were saying, if my Rona lives, I feel great about things. If it dies, it makes it a lot harder for the deck to kind of function because it is a lot of different pieces and parts to the Legends puzzle.
On the other side of things here, Karl Sarap is going to get us started with a Virtue of Loyalty, Ardenvale Fealty, making a 2/2 Knight. You'll love to see it. And in it comes. Any reason not to block here? What immediately is going to go through Nicole's mind when the 2/2 comes in against a 1/3?
Well, apparently it's just going to be take the damage right now, so that's straightforward enough, I suppose.
Okay. And a wedding announcement will make a 1/1.
I suppose the thought process here, if you're Karl, is just let me get my battlefield set up a little bit and then start reacting in kind. We talked a lot yesterday, if you weren't with us, about just being proactive alongside disruption. So in this instance, it's get a couple of creatures on the battlefield. In this case, it's a couple of tokens, and then a counter spell here, a proactive disruption spell there, be it Go for the Throat or Deep Cavern Bat, and keep you off balance enough while these creatures are attacking and growing, thanks to Wedding Announcement's transformation, and Virtue being cast that the game should end soon enough.
We could see another key card played here. It's a 3-drop. It's Relic of Legends. The combo between Relic of Legends and Rona is really something, Cedric, because Relic allows the Rona to tap for mana, and then whenever you cast a legendary spell, and as it so happens, the 4-color Legends deck happens to play just a fair few of those legendary creatures.
It does do that.
The Rona untaps, allowing you to
Start going off.
tap it again for more mana. You combine that with an Honest Rutstein, and all of a sudden, ooh, baby, you got a stew going. You got a massive discount on all of the cards that you play.
When the 4-color Legends deck is doing its thing, it is mighty impressive. Now, it does, unfortunately, stumble and fumble around just a little bit. Otherwise, I think the deck would be a little bit more ubiquitous. But it is a very powerful deck once the ball gets rolling.
All right, go for the throat going after Rona here. And in response, Besage You to get rid of the wedding announcement. Although that's not going to do anything with the Rona. Despite the fact that Besage You is legendary, channeling its ability doesn't untap the 1/3.
That is correct. But solving the wedding announcement problem is a good thing to solve now.
I'm just not coming, thanks. Nah, I'm busy that day.
Just going to stay home.
Yeah.
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 Turn on some Hulu or Netflix. Just not going to show up.
No, I've got other stuff. I'm going to
Watch
sit.
the Bear again.
I'm just going to sit at home and watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. I tried watching The Bear. Didn't care for it. Too much yelling. Too much yelling for me. It's a very conflict-full show. Nicole Tipple now, a hand that doesn't honestly look too great. Double Ottawara, double Takanuma, although the Rona could do some work. Looking for things like Slowgurk. She's wanting to get Gurky up in here.
Slowgurk is really, really nice in this deck, being able to return those legendary channel lands, so Takamuma's, Ottawaras, and stuff like that. But again, the big thing here, and this is what Nicole's having some difficulty with, because you can see the cards in hand on the left side of the screen, flooding out a little bit. Ottawaras are nice, Takanumas are nice, especially at a discounted price, but, you know, need actual, factual legends right now, and none of them are really showing up.
Another Ardent Veil Fealty here. And another Knight token's going to come down. Back over to Karl, who has the option now to deploy one of these virtues and really start to put some pressure on.
And that's the thing that's kind of nice about Esper Midrange right now, is that it always just kind of has something to do at every stage of the game, right? So you're able to make a 2/2 on the end step, you know, which put the virtue on an adventure, which gives you another card to do a little something later with. Right now, Karl looks like picked up a copy of Cut Down, so maybe I just do a little Cut Down, Deep Cavern Bat, leave up No More Lies action. So it just always feels like there's no shortage of things to do.
Yeah. And I think this would be a good play if it weren't for the just enormous whifferino that the Deep Cavern Bat is going to reveal. Although, as Karl, you're happy to see that.
Yeah, so one of the things that when you do whiff on a discard spell like the Deep Cavern Bat, it's always nice to get the information, which Karl did write down. So 2 Ottawaras, 1 Takanuma, knowing that I don't really have to fear too much at this stage of things. Things could, of course, change, but for right now, okay, not so bad.
Any reason not to fire off the Cut Down here if you're Karl? Because
Plaza Heroes is at the check. Yeah, Plaza Heroes is at the ready. So you
with
use
the extra mana from the Rona.
Correct. So this is actually a thing when I was watching Kibler play yesterday that an opponent who was playing Esper missed, was the fact that you could tap the Relic and then tap the Rona for mana and then the additional land. And combat did not go favorably for the opponent in that exchange because the Plaza Heroes did save something, and then Kibler went on to go win the game and the match. So Karl recognizing that right away, and now because the Plaza is down,
Karl
so
doesn't miss a beat, for sure. And so unfortunately, Nicole's going to lose her second Rona to the Cut Down. She activated Takanuma, and therefore the Plaza of Heroes, its 4th ability, wasn't able to be activated there. So, 5 mana available, double Ottawara still in hand, single Ottawara in hand now, and we've got Urtai Resurrected or Titania. And it's going to be Titania, Voice of Gaia here for Nicole Tipple. This card, a great way to buffer your life total, Cedric, when you are channeling lands, because it doesn't matter why the land or from where the land is put into a graveyard, you're still gaining 2 life.
Yeah.
And we've seen this card already this weekend gain, 8, 10 life? It can make a huge difference.
Yeah, when we watch the 4-color versus 5-color mirror Legends decks, some can be 4, some can be 5. It was very impactful in that matchup, just the incidental life gain here, as Karl is hoping to peel a little something with a little knock of the deck. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
No, it finds an Aklazot, so I wonder if that's what he was knocking on the door for. And also, yes, because I just know the people in the chat are getting out the world's smallest bow saws to split the hair, Cedric. Technically, well, actually.
Oh, is that how this? Is that how this?
This is how Twitch
person
Chat talks.
Okay.
Actually, it's a 5-color Legends deck because there is, of course, a Lasso of the Core. But
oh, sure.
you know,
Go on.
who's counting? Who's counting?
You.
What's the difference between 4 and 5? In a cosmic sense, nothing, essentially. Right? On a galactic scale, the difference between 1 and 0, or 1 and 4 and 5, very, very little.
Okay,
Very
noted. Noted. I'm going to clip this and send it to you later. Just
That's
the difference between one number and the other.
Yeah.
Apparently nothing.
Well, when we're talking in the grand sweep of the universe,
So in this instance, real quick, that means that Karl wouldn't gain any life, right? Because one.
it's a rounding error.
Oh.
On a cosmic scale,
Oh.
it's next to nothing.
I see.
But this is not on a cosmic scale,
I
Cedric.
see.
Try to dial in. We're watching Magic the Gathering. We're not watching
Happily.
the heat death of the universe here, mate. Come on. All right. Virtue of fealty, loyalty comes in. And this is going to grow things very, very quickly indeed.
This is a very good card across all matchups, is the Virtue. Of course, giving you a little bit of something to do in the early game. The creature token that is created at actually having Vigilance matters in a format that is surrounded by the Wandering Emperor. And then, of course, the text on the actual enchantment, untapping your creatures, giving them +1/+1 counters. The whole package is very nice. And this bat's not too bad either.
Aklazot's Deepest Betrayal, but it's going to be countered before it even enters the battlefield thanks to the Urtai Resurrected. So will replace itself with a card off the top as part of the Urtai's counter ability.
Sorry? Instant. Oh, instant.
Yeah, so there's no good attacks here for Karl. We're going to eventually get to having good attacks as these creatures continue to grow, but Karl is not there just yet. So grow them and send it and see if Nicole... I don't know what the best draw is in this instance. Beseiju isn't terrible, but
sort
these
of
tokens
a
have
little bit late to the party.
Yeah, a little late indeed. These tokens have gotten a little bit too large at this stage of things.
Well, the Otawara isn't bad either. It's just a clear-cut removal spell against these tokens as well. So you can certainly turn down the pressure a little bit, but the fact that these knights are now 4/4s makes them a little bit difficult to block in the face of your 3/4 blocker and your 3/2 freshly deployed Urtai here.
And remember, one can get a little crafty with Otawara in a spot like this. It's extremely cheap. And you can, if memory serves, target your own things. So you can get a little crafty.
So this isn't gonna work out super well with the Wandering Emperor able to give the double blocked knight first strike.
I'll pause it.
But a Plaza to keep the Titania around, and then we're going to see Otawara
Channel the Otawara targeting the knight trigger.
Okay.
to gain 2.
Yeah.
So the reason the Titania was given indestructible because it was, I believe, ordered. The blocker was ordered first, or are we at that stage yet? All right, we're going to have a chat about. I imagine about this very situation across away from the battlefield.
So let's walk it through again.
All right.
So we got our double block.
Yeah.
Okay. And then.
I think blockers were ordered.
Okay.
I believe. I'm not sure on that, but I think blockers were ordered.
Sure. Because there has to be that conversation of when the double block does take place, it is on the active player who's doing the attacking to order the blockers.
Yeah.
And then for the opposing. Well,
No,
Karl.
that's the one that I'm not blocking. And then I
Okay.
have a trigger, I gain 2. Yeah. Go to 15.
Well,
Looks like everything's okay.
yeah, it's fine. And of course, you know, calling a judge, asking a question, that's what you do. If you're in doubt, if you're unsure about anything that's happening at the table, call a judge, ask the question. You can call them away from the table, have a conversation to not give any information to your opponent, or indeed to, you know, the entire broadcast team.
Also that.
We don't know what Karl asked either. And with that Plaza of Heroes activation, it meant that Karl wasn't able to leverage any extra advantage out of the Wandering Emperor. Plays a Concealed Courtyard. And now for 5, we're going to see another Virtue of Loyalty here. So virtuous.
Channel
About
the
time for that
targeting
Beseiju,
visual
yeah.
and I'll trigger.
So go to 17.
All right, another 2.
So a question I always think of when I'm watching a game like this, where it is very much in the balance, what's Nicole's best draw? And now the Legends deck has a very high ceiling. Might be something like a Takanuma, perhaps. Could be... NT is okay. Maybe another copy of Airtie.
The Inti isn't getting a huge amount of value just because you don't have any good attacks.
Slogurk, maybe anything right now.
But with no channel lands in hand.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? Let's take a look. Gain a little life.
Yeah, gain two. Gain two, draw a card. Karl's fetched up his land from the Seiju here. So Nicole cycles away Proving Ground. She draws a card which is a Relic of Legends. Chooses not to cast it here, hoping to make Karl maybe think twice about what could be in hand. Takes 4 down to 15. And even this humble 1/1 human, the only person who actually turned up to the wedding, helping themselves to the lunch buffet. Get
no one else.
bigger.
No one else is there to eat the food.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whoo, doggy. Tell you what, it's like the catering here. I get there first.
I'd tuck it away. Don't you worry.
I block everybody out.
Yeah. Okay, here's the Wandering Emperor.
Make a summary.
Sure.
And so now there's going to be multiple creatures that are getting pumped up here by the Virtue. Virtue is starting to take over this game, folks.
Inner upkeep.
All right, we've got an upkeep go for the Throats. Yep, on Titania. So we know Nicole has a Relic of Legends in hand. I think that's a Rona that's just been drawn. Or is it another?
A little better than that.
No, it's an Aklazotz. All right. There's a lot. I'm now figuring out there are a lot more double face cards in this deck than I thought.
Yes.
Just because Nicole is using the actual placeholder cards.
Placeholder, double face cards.
Yeah, you sort of forget because the Aklazotz doesn't always flip. You forget that Titania is double-sided because it doesn't meld in this deck.
Yep. Now, Aklazotz is the kind of card that can start to dominate a game a little bit here. A lot of text on Big Bat. Well, Karl said, I don't care. I'm attacking.
You
I don't care about your bat.
I don't care about your bat god.
Not at all.
It's 9.
Pay no attention, no respect given to the bat god. 4/4 Flying Lifelinker. But Aklazotz can get in there next. Nicole on 6. Maybe it's all hands on deck to try to defend here. Man, these Virtues are...
No, Virtue's busted.
They're really good.
Card's outrageous, yeah.
Oh, and another one. Sure. Why don't we, huh? Another knight.
Everything on taps just goes to fire.
And you can just see, look at just how much power has been put, power and toughness has been put on the battlefield by this Virtue.
Yeah, this is one of those spots where Nicole, with what I would consider to be quite a good start, with multiple copies of Rona, and Karl having answers to both. Rona, as you could see, if it had lived for a while over the course of this game, a lot of drawing and discarding, a little bit of a mana advantage alongside the Relic. None of that really came to fruition over the course of this game, but that's the kind of opening hand that you do want to keep against Esper because you just want to kind of get the ball rolling on the deck, and it just wasn't able to really come together. Takanuma never getting the opportunity to really bring it back in any meaningful way either. So Rona is kind of the glue that holds it all together for this deck.
So having 2 copies of it to start the game is a good spot. But look, I have to say, Nicole here has just had a pretty middling draw.
Extremely middling. Extremely.
Not terrible.
Nope.
Like, she's in the game still, but it's just the top of her deck hasn't treated her very well. We've seen the explosive potential of this list when it comes to things like Slogurk and the absurd things you can do when you're constantly cycling things in and out of your graveyard. And Nicole just hasn't really been able to do that because the cards haven't fallen her way here. Karl, on the other hand, has had a pretty good draw.
It's not the top end
not
of
the
Esper,
top end,
but
it's
a
been,
totally fine
it's
draw.
been decent.
But this is the appeal of Esper, which is, Rafine is the first card I think most people think of when it comes to Esper, but you don't have to draw Rafine to win the game. It is a key piece to the deck, but it isn't a necessary draw in order for the deck to function. Again, when you have so many good cards in your deck like Esper does have, and the Wandering Emperor and Virtue and all this other stuff, most of your draw steps are just going to be generally good.
It's hard to have a really, really bad draw.
Yeah, where I find this 4-color Legends deck to be a bit more of a combo deck. Not in the most traditional of senses, but it does feel that way when you watch it play.
It has a lower floor, but a much higher ceiling.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Ertai jumps under the bus to keep Nicole alive. But the pressure continues now with Denik being cast by Karl. So this might be it for Nicole. The lone Aklazot's holding down this particular fort, and Relic of Legends in hand not doing very much. So a key draw step here. Ertai's not bad. Shuts down 2 attacks. Well, shuts down 1 attack and can chump block another.
Correct.
Go.
Yeah, big bet on defense now.
Yeah.
I think this is
and honestly,
appropriate.
not even that big.
No, comparatively.
No.
I mean, not getting any bigger.
Certainly not getting any bigger. The Bat God only a 4/4. Only.
Sure.
The smallest creature, Denik, a 3/4 here. All right, in they all come. So, Ertai Resurrected, the freshly drawn card here for Nicole, comes down. And to destroy a creature, replace it with a fresh card off the top for Karl.
Trigger. Thinking.
But no profitable blocks available with Ertai.
Yeah, the only thing to keep in mind here with Ertai is the fact that
I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
Plaza Heroes is in the equation.
Oh, true, still with a Relic of Legends. Let's not forget about that, yeah. And also you're gaining 4 with the Bat God as well, with the Aklazots.
And Nicole is thinking through everything right now. The Ertai trigger is still on the stack. Karl was assuming it was going to target the token with 6 counters on it. Nicole said, give me a moment. I want to think about it just a little bit to figure out what's the best way to maximize the number of draw steps I can have over the course of this game. So,
Human.
Yep, so at the end of the day, away goes the enormous human token.
Yep.
Karl draws a card.
Can I
The
get a ball?
Ertai is going to block the samurai here, I should say.
Damage?
Yeah, I'm thinking for damage.
And Nicole here, I don't know what her options are at this point.
just Plaza.
Just
all.
casting, activating the plaza
Yep,
here.
just what's the target.
Right, okay.
So this ties. I gain 3.
But I don't think that was a pretty straightforward use of the plaza there. I don't think you're going to chuck it on the Aklazots.
I don't think so
So
either. So
keep the Ertai around.
I haven't used anyway.
Okay.
well, Karl's got plenty to do in the second main phase too. Denik, of course, does have Disturbed, so that's step 1. I think Karl has another copy of Denik in hand. No reason to really leave up no more lies. Yeah, so just more creatures on the battlefield that get pumped up by Virtue. And Virtue's the card, your partner, that has really run away with this game.
Yep. Yes, the Pious Apprentice, Pious Apparition joined the 2 tokens here. And an Otawara off the top here for Nicole. Is this enough to keep her alive for another turn? Can bounce the Samurai and destroy, well, essentially destroy that. But now even Aklazots is getting close to chump blocking here. All right, Nicole passes. She's going down swinging, I'll tell you that.
Keep fighting.
Yep. That No More Lies sitting in Karl's hand, looking pretty ordinary in this situation. But I'll tell you what's not looking ordinary, and that's his battlefield.
Yeah, and this is a situation, if you're Karl, where things continue to be favorable for Karl, that's not really going to change anytime soon. So it's just a situation now of, okay, well, if I send it with everybody again, what's the worst that can happen? I did that last turn. I didn't win the game. Combat didn't go that poorly for Karl, but if I do it again, what does it look like? And I think this is a good first step, which is, okay, so how many channel lands have you used? Like, what do I need to play around in this situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Karl's trying to find any particular pitfalls that he may need to walk around and avoid here. I'm trying to slam the door closed on this game. There aren't a lot of cards in the 4-color list here that can be played at instant speed.
Yeah.
So the fact that Nicole draws passes, she's had a card that's been sitting in her hand for quite a number of turns. That's going to signal to Karl that there may be something to think about.
Yeah, because Nicole has passed with a mystery card in hand, of course, we know that it's Relic of Legends. If you're Karl, your assumption is that card's just nothing. a land or a relic or just something that's inconsequential,
Yep.
right? So, okay, I just have to think about what the other card could be. I don't have to play around 2 cards. I need to play around simply 1. And 1 could be, you know, again, like something like a cut down, which doesn't really matter very much in this spot, or this one, which is Otawara.
And Karl probably knows it's not Urtai, because I think the second copy of Urtai has already been played,
Correct.
right? So Karl, who will have had access to Nicole's deck list before this match, will know that he doesn't have to play around a copy of Urtai, because there's no third copy of it. Anyway, the card revealed to be an Otawara, of course, as we saw. So Nicole lives to fight another day, although Urtai Resurrected doesn't. And the Aklazot's is still here. One of the only reasons Nicole has still survived it too. The lifelink on the back guard has been very helpful. Ooh, Rafine.
It's just that in this spot, Rafine, you know, all of its connive text and all the things that we're used to seeing it do doesn't really work itself into the equation much here. It's just about, I'd like another creature on the battlefield that gets a counter to Virtue, right? Because eventually I'm going to cross this darn finish line.
Yeah. You don't mind if it's just a 1/1.
Yeah, just it being anything is totally fine. The hope here, if you're Karl, is just more creatures.
Okay, a Beseiju. That's an answer to the Virtue, but again, the damage has sort of been done here in both a literal and a figurative sense. And this may be it here for our Pro Tour debutante. Nicole playing again in her first Pro Tour.
Love it.
Oh, in we go. Get some lunch. Aklazot's clears the no more lies. Nicole just wanted to have a look, see what was going on. Game number 1 goes to Karl Sarap. But Nicole doing the best with what was a pretty rough set of draws there.
Ready to rumble?
And ask the question. Karl is indeed ready to rumble on 6 cards, mulliganing once.
What if Karl just said no?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to, let's just chill for a little bit, huh?
My hand sucks. No.
All right, Inti, Seneschal of the Sun comes down as on turn number 2 here for Nicole. Another very powerful 2-drop.
This is now this is a start that Nicole has to be thrilled with because Karl's lands are slow. So there's no real cut down. There's no, go for the throat like style removal spell or anything. Karl has those in hand, but Nicole's actually going to get to generate a little value off the 2-drop finally.
Oh, no activation or no use of Inti's ability. And instead, it's just a nice little curve here, Inti into Titanium. So this deck, for those who aren't those amongst you who aren't familiar with how it works, the 4-color Legends deck does play in and out of the graveyard using the channel lands, Beseiju, Takenuma, Otawara, in conjunction with Slogurk, and then cards like Inti, cards like Titania, to get some extra value when you're discarding things. Because Inti's discard ability, sure, Inti can trigger it himself with the on-attack trigger, but you still get to make use of the on-discard trigger from Inti, regardless of why the card is discarded. That's what we're going to see here. Ooh, not so. No, absolutely not. The Tidebinder comes down and blanks the Inti, counters the ability.
Well, let's take a look at this.
And I think they're checking out whether the Titania actually is discarded or not.
Okay. Is that how it works?
If the discard is part of the cost, then it will stay in the
Maybe
graveyard.
a judge can help us.
Yep.
What's
So you're targeting.
I don't know.
So
when she discards, she has to choose the target, right?
no, it's a reflexive trigger. So she has to
Okay.
discard, and then she just chooses.
When
to
you
bring
attack,
her-
you may discard a card.
Yeah.
When you do,
then she puts a plus 1 and chooses a target there.
Yeah,
So you could
when I discarded, that was the...
so I can counter the trigger
of discarding.
of
Yes.
discarding. I don't want to do that. So
Okay.
she discarded now.
Yeah. And she needs a target.
Now she
yeah.
needs a target. So
Yeah,
what do you target
okay.
with the +1?
target the Inti.
Okay, then I will counter the card too.
Okay, so is this Tidebender on the stack to counter
Targeting
this trigger?
No, the targeting, the +1/+1.
I'm countering the second
Sorry,
trigger.
yeah. Okay, kind of the second
Okay.
trigger. Yeah.
Okay, so you're countering the exile, I am getting the
Yeah.
counter.
You are getting to counter, but the card gets exiled. It doesn't get exiled.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so Karl there had the option to counter the fact that the +1/+1 counter was going to be put on the Inti. Instead, counter the second, or the third, I guess, ability of this Inti, getting rid of its ability, or all of its abilities, but countering its ability to exile a card off the top of the library that can be played. Now, blanking the Inti is a nice one here for sure. It looks like there's just going to be a trade. because Inti is just a 3/3, isn't doing a huge amount. It's Inti's ability to constantly provide a flow of cards off the top when you're discarding that's really nice, and that's something that the Tidebinder shut off, although now largely academic as the cards
loses
of trade.
Yes.
Yep. Inti has trample.
It loses all abilities.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It was
Yep.
all those, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Also, trample can be dealt all to the creature. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do have a question. It says
The
it gets
default is-
trample until end of turn. So is that
Oh, it actually gains
is it
trample,
already on the?
But
hand trample
Carl
for
had
that
to
until
play
the
the
turn.
universe
ourselves-
got on
more
himself.
damage.
Just got ourselves a bit of a mess here. All right, a little more damage. Squeak it out.
So, so the judge came in, and Carl came in hot, and was like,
That's
no,
okay.
lost trample.
Yeah.
But then we realized, no, it
Gains
gained
trample. Yeah.
on top of the Tidebinder.
These
trigger
cards,
there.
they got a lot of text, these cards.
Although Carl did point out that you can choose not to assign extra trample damage past the creature. You can assign 3 damage to a 2 toughness creature if you want. It's not generally advisable to do so, but you can do it. But we got it all sorted out. And now go for the throat, targeting the Titania.
Might be a little Odawara. So this is on Nicole's upkeep that this is happening. Karl missile land drop. Odawara will bounce this back. One of the problems that Nicole's having currently-ish is the lack of black mana, actually, for the 4-color deck. There is a copy of Go Through the Throat and Cut Down in hand. No targets necessarily at the moment, but inability to cast either of those cards, at least right now.
And we see now Beseiju. And this is a good example of why sometimes you want to cast a card in your opponent's upkeep. As we see Rafine come down for Karl. Casting it in the upkeep meant that for Nicole to return the Titania to her hand, she had to do that in her own turn, use up her mana. It got tied up there, rather than doing it during your turn when they can just untap and recast whatever was being bounced or whatever. So that was almost like a little time walk type thing from Karl there, tying up Nicole's mana very nicely. And now Titania comes back down the next turn.
Another black card drawn there in Long Goodbye, too. All those cards are very, very good in this matchup as kind of ways to handle Rafine.
Long Goodbye.
Long Goodbye being the best of the bunch, for sure. But, again, no black mana at this stage of things. So Rafine actually gets to do something we haven't seen it do yet in this match, which is attack.
All right, in comes the Scheming Seer. And Karl gets to connive, discards a Fairy Mastermind. And the block from Titania, because of course it has, I say of course.
Yeah, I was going to say
of course it has
Yeah.
reach, because it is depicted with a bow in the, no wait, no it's not.
There's no bow?
No, there's no bow.
Oh. What kind of weaponry is Titania?
There was a level of consistency with which cards did and did not have reach that I feel like has just been completely thrown out the window.
Maybe just really tall.
Well, is Titania really tall?
Is it not?
Potentially.
Oh, wait, hang on. Long arms.
Long
How
arms.
about that?
She got that
How about
wingspan.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
see. Or maybe she can just jump really high.
I'm not going to put Titania on jumping ever.
Is there a jetpack hidden behind
yes.
her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the only explanation I can think of.
I can't.
Does she have her pilot's license? No, because then she'd just be flying.
Yes, correct.
Maybe she knows how to operate anti-aircraft weaponry.
You know, I'm going to still go with the long arms.
Long arms.
That's what I'm going to
All
stick
right,
to.
Occam's razor.
Stick to
Let's
those,
get it
yeah.
done with that. Okay, the simplest explanation is most often the correct one. All right, Inti comes down the seneschal of the sun here, discarding Cut Down. And it's Go for the Throat. I think this is in response to the +1/+1 counter being put on Titania.
I still get the exile.
And Liliana of the Veil. Well, never mind having 1 black mana. How about having 2 to
Yeah,
cast Lily?
It's going to be tough.
It's not happening. That is not happening. And rocket boots and jetpacks and all, Titania heads to the bin.
Throat, too. It's gone.
Yeah.
Went right for it.
Mm-hmm.
Rafine is cooking.
Yeah. Rafine discarding Rafine. 3 power coming across now. Rafine's a real nasty piece
Yeah, it's a
of work.
really good card.
Real nasty
this
piece
is a really,
of work.
This is a really good card.
Like 6 toughness now.
Yeah, not so concerned with that as Nicole, but just the ability to kind of smooth out the draw. Now,
How do you kill it? I guess with a long goodbye.
that one. That one.
Yeah, long goodbye. Well,
Now, the biggest issue, as Inti's going to come across, is Karl is hypothetically smoothing out his hand,
Yeah.
but still hasn't found lands to actually be able to start double spelling. So has not had the ability to be proactive
Yeah.
and then disrupt.
And the hand really starts to unlock itself once you get to that fourth land.
Yeah,
Look at
it's mana 4.
Bunch 2-drops. You can, cast a Denic and keep up both Go for the Throat and or Negate. Not and or, just or,
Yeah.
not and or.
Take 3 to the 11.
All right, Ziatora's Proving Ground will be played from the Inti.
Go ahead.
So Nicole's getting good value here from this card. And now, for 2 mana, it's former World Championship Yuta Takahashi.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Oh, the sick brags
Yeah.
from Karl there.
For
Yeah, look,
getting
it's signed.
That's
my
right.
second win in my
Got a
pod.
stamp.
Gave me a stamped Tiny Bones, and I made him sign it. It's also in here somewhere.
Oh, that's exciting. Did you catch who signed the Tiny Bones?
I didn't catch
No,
it.
I hope now we
I
see.
hope we see it,
Nicole,
yeah.
because I want to find out who signed that Tiny Bones. I'm trying to think who is Magic the Gathering's in real life Tiny Bones. Is it you, Cedric Phillip?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, how did you know?
I play
You have very
Limited.
tiny bones. You have very small bones. I've seen your bones.
right,
They're very
I am.
small.
Sure.
And yes, they are.
Cards 1.
All right.
1, yeah. And you have 3 lands. Oh, look, a land. Oh, that's a scary land.
Oh, get him, Nicole. Get him. All right, Go for the Throat here on the Inti. She is just going from all business
Yeah, getting a little loose in the
to,
feature match.
to
I'm
then,
here
and then,
for it.
But then straight back to all
Yeah.
business as well.
I am here for
It's
it.
great. She's zigging and zagging all over the place.
Takanuma's not bad.
Go ahead.
All right,
Not great. Not
Ships
bad.
here. Got to Go for the Throat.
Yeah. The fear, of course, was Karl finding land 4.
Yeah.
Because we can see Karl's hand, and now Karl's in double spell territory.
Yeah, and Nicole will know that as well.
Yeah.
She'll know that the third land is, or the fourth land is going to unlock a lot of stuff. Although just this turn we're going to see a replacement on the Rafine.
4 cards.
Can be dealt with relatively easily
Yep.
with
Resolve.
the Go for the Throat. And we're going to have that deployed
for the
here
pay for
and
ward.
now. Very clear
15.
communication as well. Love to see that.
Gotta have fun sometimes, right?
What's the best draw style? Bat? Bat would be pretty good.
Yeah, it's a Cavern of Souls. How does that one?
That's not it.
How does that
4
one
cards?
stack up in the good
It's
draw
terrifying.
hierarchy here? Yeah, Nicole's starting to feel it as well. She can feel this one slipping away. The top of her library has not been kind to her. Does again have that Takanuma.
Yep. No
Yuta's
third
just chipping
Rafin?
away.
No, I discarded that one. Maybe that was a mistake.
Oh, I tell you what, dinner and a show tonight with these two playing.
Yeah, results.
All right, wedding announcement.
Your turn is mine. I'm going to
3 members.
All right, Takanuma time. Let's see how this goes.
Takanuma time.
2, 3. Oh, man.
So many options.
Man, thinking is... I'm gonna get this slow burn.
Takes the Gurk.
Graveyard. This is in my graveyard. This goes untap. Ah. Draw.
So, Slogo Cavern of Souls and a fresh card off the top, which is another
Owara.
Owara. Well, it's not the worst.
No.
It's
no.
not the worst. It can be activated once you play the Gurk. Also put a counter on Slow Gurk as well.
Oops.
All right.
You got that one?
I got that one.
Oh, you're ready.
Oh, look at that. The table staff in the feature match area ready. They've got every single creature type.
Pick on turn.
Don't worry about it. Coward,
Your
that's there.
White-black mana?
Egg,
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah.
I
You wanna
really
name
wish it is so I could
I?
say ooze.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't.
fine.
I don't.
Go.
It makes a lot of sense.
All right, Slogo comes down.
Okay.
And the Ottawara
Doesn't
can be
have reach,
activated
right?
here.
It does not have reach.
Good.
No, it's got a lot
Great
of words
question.
on it. None of them
Great
have
question to
reach.
ask if you're Karl. It seems like every green creature has
I'll
reach
take 2.
nowadays.
11. Evan is both at 11?
It could have
Sunrise?
reach.
11.
That's big.
Look at
it's
that.
an
arm.
ooze, yeah.
It's got like a tendril that could,
long arms.
pluck a bird
we
out
checked
of
this out. We checked this out
long
earlier. Yeah, long arms.
Also hidden jetpack probably behind the ship.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
All right, Danik now. Now, you'll notice that Danik Pious Apprentice has
Response.
flying. No sign of a
Does
jetpack on
not have
that bad boy.
long arms.
Yeah, doesn't have long arms either.
Channel. Otawara targeting Slogurk.
Oh, here
I have
we
a
go.
trigger here.
Okay.
Bounce.
Okay.
So
Trigger.
Slogurk returns to hand.
So are these like having 2 of the double face card things, or where's my chocolate? Oh, I got it already. And this one.
All right, little combo.
Hands, the middle.
Slugger's starting to cook a little bit now.
And the reason this was done here, Cedric, correct me if I'm wrong, is because the Denick would actually make this not... It wouldn't be possible to return the lands to your hand, because Slogurk says when Slogurk leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards. And Denick prevents them from being targeted. So Nicole's not missing a trick here, returning the Gurk to hand
Untap. Upkeep. Draw.
and bringing back 3 lands as she does so. So nice full grip now here.
Rona's late to this party.
Rona, Slogurk, Otawara, Takanuma, the hand here for Nicole.
Rona.
Sure.
It's a legal way to tap my mana, right? Tap that for blue. Slogurk.
Ever heard of it?
Slogurk. Heard of the ooze?
Snip, snip.
Ooze this creature.
Cut down is the card this deck wants to play. It feels like that's the card that the Legends deck wants to play against the least.
Yeah, it does kill those key 2-drops, Rona, Inti, and does it with minimal fuss.
Legend roll. Trigger.
Oh, look at this.
Bigger.
+1/+1 counter, the big girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much Slugger can do on its own to get out of this kind of difficult situation. It's certainly going to try.
Is also a flower.
I just feel like half the time I've been talking during this game, I just feel like I'm making the broadcast worse
I mean, I'm good to just shut him
by
off.
just by not letting these two do their jobs as players and sort of commentators halfway as well.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If we don't talk, we still get paid.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to shut him down, we
I've
can.
spent half my career being told by a lot of people who watch these streams that I need to talk less.
Well,
you know,
let's make Twitch chat happy.
let's make them happy. Let's
Yeah.
give in to the haters, give them what they want, leave them wanting less. That's been the way that I've approached my broadcasting career. A lot of people say leave them wanting more. No, not me, Cedric. Leave them wanting less. It is a shame Nicole's this good at Magic, because if she were slightly worse, she could be a commentator like you or me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But instead she's crushing it.
Instead, she's doing really well. So
absolutely crushing it.
yeah, I'll tell you what, if she ever becomes old and washed up like you, Cedric, she's got a long and illustrious career as a broadcaster ahead of her.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly right.
All right, so now that Denick is gone, Graveyard is unlocked. Can Nicole take advantage? That is the question.
Important update from friend of the show, Brian David Marshall. And you're going to say, oh boy, to a BDM update? BDM has just texted me saying Simon Nielsen signed her Tiny Bones.
Love that.
Simon
Love
Nielsen
that.
confirmed as the Pro Tour's Tiny
Love
Bones.
that.
Thank you, BDM.
Love that.
The Pro Tour historian and a shining star in the history of Magic the Gathering. A man without whom
We wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here in the same capacity I am now. I've learned so much from Brian David Marshall over the years.
6. Okay. Confirm no reach on Slogurk.
Yep.
Okay, so big bat.
Can I have you play a little bit faster too?
Bounce.
Okay.
There's no Denick to speak of. Those lands can come back, of course.
Takanuma.
Nicole's kind of doing it.
Otawara.
Yeah, I just,
That's what I want to do.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
I haven't played a land yet this turn. So yeah, that happens there, and then cast the bat.
Yeah, she's kind of doing it here.
Yeah, trying to barely hang on,
Yeah.
but needing a flyer in the face of the Fairy Mastermind. That is a 3-power creature, and then the Reckless Anchorage, which is also larger because of the transformed wedding announcement. So
Oh, true. It's attacking. What is it? It's attacking for 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4/5. But the Aclazotz does have lifelink as well.
So if you block there, yeah. So this is just that attack plus the map.
Ooh.
+1/+1.
Yep.
It's a 3/4. It's a 4/5.
We almost had the block there from Nicole, but she realized, no, +1/+1. I'm not going to block with my Ecclesarts.
It's a 4/5. I'll take 4.
Yeah, Karl, that +1/+1 counter coming in key.
Yeah,
Cedric.
from the map a little bit early, but this is, I mean, this still allows
Never seen that card before.
Nicole hypothetically to be able to attack this turn with the bat and maybe get to keep playing. We're kind of in the situation we were in last game where Nicole's behind, Bat's trying to like stabilize-ish, but Slogurk wasn't involved last time. Now Denik is back to make Slogurk worse,
Hello.
but
Now,
you know, we're
here's-
kind of just doing this again.
Here's something really, really important about Otawara, right? It says return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. It does not say, as so many bounce spells do, non-land permanent. It can bounce the Restless Anchorage.
Oh, okay.
A lot of bounce spells can't bounce creature lands because all the good ones say non-land permanent.
Yep, very true.
But Otawara can bounce a Restless Anchorage. This is a really, really important distinction.
Extremely true. Okay.
And at the moment, Otawara now only costs 2 to activate. So Nicole can do this. Reset the counter on the Restless Anchorage, perhaps. I'm not saying she's out of the woods, but this is a better position than it looks like here for our Legends player.
So Karl currently has to play around Slogurk blocking plus Otawara bouncing, is what it looks like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Slogurk is a an effective fourth.
Yeah, and I think the land screws this up that Karl just drew because it can activate both anchorages and just shove with everybody.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So now they can all come in, and this may mean that there aren't. There's no configuration of blockers that will keep Nicole alive here.
So if you block here and you bounce the wedding announcement, does that do anything?
2 maps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
3 maps.
10 unblocked damage. You bounce. Assuming that is assuming
I'll
you
channel
bounce
Otawara, targeting this Restless Anchorage.
the Restless Anchorage there.
Is it creature?
Oh, is it creature? Oh, I thought it's not.
And there you go. That exact question
And then
answered
I die.
there.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Figures.
And she goes down. Oh my goodness. Well, look, a hard-fought victory for Karl Sarap there. Nicole gave him a run for his money, I'll tell you that. That was a very impressive performance, particularly in game number 2 from our 4-color Legends player there. But ultimately, Esper Midrange just a little bit too strong to overcome the consistency, the power of that deck, proving more than a match for the 4-color Legends list.
I think the best way to approach 4-color Legends at this stage of the format is that it does kind of play like a combo deck that is very reliant on its 2-drops in Inti and Rona. Now, if those do hang around for a little while, then your deck can kind of get the ball rolling because you can kind of put all the Legends together to do some of the broken things that are possible. But Esper does a really good job of stopping you from doing that, of course, because of cutdowns and go for the throats, just general interaction. And so that's why it's always going to be probably a pretty tough matchup there for Legends, and that's how it played out that we just watched.
Yeah, unable to get that early value with the Ronas, with the Intis, when Esper is able to not only develop its board, but also leverage very cheap interactions.
Absolutely.
So a rough start there for the Legends player in that matchup, and sadly Nicole picks up a loss, but well done to Karl Sarap getting the dub in this round. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of it, of course, there's more Magic coming your way. Back at the news desk in just a few moments. Stay with us.